Film studio Lionsgate and director Francis Ford Coppola are accused of fabricating film critic quotes for the upcoming film Megalopolis in a trailer that has now since been deleted. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget if you're watching on YouTube to ring that little bell so you get notifications whenever I post a new video, and consider becoming a channel member. All right, so yeah, apparently it's been confirmed. This is not just some gossip or rumor, but supposedly Lionsgate have been fabricating critic quotes in, I believe, the second trailer for Megalopolis, which is expected to arrive in September 2024. This has caused a big ruckus, and Lionsgate is scrambling to do damage control. So this is according to bleedingfool.com. Lionsgate recalled its new trailer for Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis Wednesday in revelation that critics' quotes were fabricated. Lionsgate is immediately recalling our trailer for Megalopolis, a Lionsgate spokesperson said in a statement to the AP. We offer our sincere apologies to the critics involved and to Francis Ford Coppola and America's Zoetrope for this inexcusable error in our vetting process. We screwed up. We are sorry. The trailer released earlier Wednesday included quotes from critics like Pauline Kael and Roger Ebert of other Coppola films that did not actually appear in their reviews. The intent, it seems, was to highlight the critical divisiveness of now classics like The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, leaning into some of the more negative reactions to Megalopolis, the self-financed 120 million epic opening in September. The trailer attributed a quote to Cale that The Godfather was diminished by its artsiness, but Cale loved The Godfather, and this phrase was not used in her March 1972 review of the film for The New Yorker. Ebert also did not write that Coppola's Bram Stoker Dracula was a triumph of style over substance. Quotes from Rex Reed and Vincent Canby about Apocalypse Now did not appear in the reviews either. Megalopolis has been decades in the making, and it received many mixed reviews upon its premiere at the Cannes Films Festival earlier this year. It has also come under scrutiny of late for alleged misconduct on set after videos leaked of Coppola hugging and kissing extras during a club scene. Representatives have not responded to the AP's request for comment about the videos. The film is set to have its North American premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival next month before hitting theaters on September 27th. There you go. I don't get it. What was the point of that? Lionsgate is saying that Coppola was not involved. Maybe that's true. I disagree. I think he knew full well what he was doing, especially since, likes to poke his head up. Now, don't get me wrong. Coppola has made some very impressive films like The Godfather Part 2. No one can deny that. But it is clear that along the way, he has sort of lost his edge. And that's a shame because, like I said, he was a very talented director, but if you look at some of his more later films before he went into winemaking, they're not that impressive. They're not that good. And it's a shame because Coppola is very talented. Now he makes, bank just popping up his head to insult, superhero movies or sequels or whatever, even though, he made the Godfather trilogy and made other films in that same genre. But no, he wants to pop up his head, kind of like what Martin Scorsese does. Martin Scorsese, another incredibly talented director, he just has to, pretend that he's the arbiter of all things cinema for some reason. And Coppola does the same thing. They cope. Coppola, Scorsese, and other directors here are like, we don't like franchise films. It's so silly. I think what Lionsgate was trying to do was gin up that divisiveness, just like this article from Bleeding Fool says. I think that they were trying to lean into how people are divided over Coppola's legacy because, like I said, he has all these masterful films that are amazing, and then you got Jack, right? It's very interesting to see that fight. I mean, we're seeing that in real time with other directors too. James Cameron, Ridley Scott, Steven Spielberg, and a whole host of others have seemed to lost the same mojo that they had in the 80s, 90s, and even the early 2000s. It's very hard, especially now with film budgets being bloated thanks to overpaid celebrities, thanks to way too much focus on special effects. There is that pressure there to get people to the seats. But the fact is, general audiences are tired of Hollywood people like Francis Ford Coppola chasing after a a modern audience, going after, a group of people that aren't even going to the movies. They're not into cinema. They're not crazy about the classics. Megalopolis, I wasn't at Cannes, obviously. It could have been phenomenal, but it seems to me like it was very mixed. So, will this be his big comeback after retiring to make wine in California? I don't know. And by the way, I don't begrudge a filmmaker for pursuing other avenues. Good for him. People like Jessica Alba have been doing that for years. Gwyneth Paltrow, of course, likes to peddle snake oil. And good for Coppola for getting into something like wine. Good for him. My relatives, or some of my relatives, enjoy Coppola's wine. Good for him. I'm not saying that he can't come back to be a filmmaker, but whenever you look at how he was once at the peak and just an epic fall to the point of where he just retired. Honestly, if I was Coppola, I would want to get this project out. I mean, he's been planning this for years. This can be his song, his swan song. As far as I can tell, it's got a decent cast. But I got to be honest, I missed the trailer with the fake critic quotes. I missed that one. But the first one didn't tell me anything about the movie. I don't understand these trailers that they're doing where they just basically do a hype reel, but it's not the same as hyping up a person or hyping up an organization. With a film, you need to hype up the story, you need to hype up the cast. And it's a shame that this fad of trailers where they just show vignettes of scenes and then they just come up with the movie title and whoever's in it or based on the book by, whatever it is. But you're like, okay, but what's it about? Who are these people? Why should I care about them? This is a mistake that a lot of filmmakers are making today with their trailers. Now, I know usually trailers are designed by the studio, but come on, all these folks have input into the entire process, especially with Coppola financing this himself. This is a big gamble on his part. And again, while I'm not very excited for Megalopolis, good for him. He's putting his money where his mouth is. It's something he's been after for some time, and I hope that it is successful. I'm just not seeing it happen. I mean, we're seeing a lot of sort of aging Hollywood celebrities, whether they be stars or directors, they're trying to do like a last song sort of film, something that will set them apart, that will solidify their legacy. And for the most part, it's not happening. I just recently watched Horizon, an American Saga Part 1, directed and starring by Kevin Costner. It didn't do that well at the box office, and it's a shame because I actually really enjoyed that film. By the way, there'll be a review for it very soon at StudioJakeMedia.com. So get ready for that. Head over there, subscribe. It's free. You just need your email address. And best of all, there's no ads. So head over there and check that out. Back to Coppola. I would like to see him get redeemed. Because, like I said, this is a man who's a master at his craft. It's just he got bad advice or he tried something new that didn't work. But instead of readjusting, he doubled down. He needs to find his way back to the basics, back to what made him a master of the cinematic arts. And I feel that way about several other directors who have sort of lost their way. People, I mentioned them earlier, right? Ridley Scott, James Cameron, Steven Spielberg. They bought into this idea of chasing a modern audience, and it's only blown up in their faces. But instead of, like I said, readjusting, they're doubling, tripling, quadrupling down in some cases. And I think that that will continue to hurt cinema. Now, I have heard reports that that may change soon. Studios are starting to quietly let go of DEI hires, of having, social justice departments and all these nonsense things. If that's the case, then maybe we'll see a shift in Hollywood. But don't forget, a lot of films were planned. And a lot of money goes into these ahead of time. Now, I've never worked on a cinema production. I've worked on podcasts and documentary films, but I've never worked on like a feature length film before. So I will be honest, I don't know a lot about the head process, but I can just tell you if it's anything like planning a documentary film or a podcast or a docu-series, this stuff gets planned out sometimes years in advance. And I know that with Megalopolis, Coppola has been planning this for decades now. He's been wanting to get this film out. And so I do hope it's successful. And I hope they don't pull another crazy stunt like this and that they can just let the cinema speak for itself. If you liked that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment and tell what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications whenever I post a new video, and consider becoming a channel member where you get all kinds of exclusive perks. Don't forget, if you don't want to support me on Big Tech, you can head over to my locals community. The link is in the description. Just click on there. You can send me tips for the articles that I write, or you can become a monthly subscriber. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Or you can pick up one of my novels. They are available on Amazon. Just search my name or the book's title, and it should come up. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on StudioJake.
Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide.